like being invincible.
Sorry,
I think
don't you mean Mr.
phenomenal.
Spin the Block?
Sorry, Mr. Spin the
Block.
You know, they played a great composition. They had a great draft with that poke, Jace, Maokai, Varus. I really liked it. So, who's better on form today? I think they'll decide it.
Alrighty, well, we're straight into picks and bans to Tristana, and no spinning for Mr. Spin the Block as the Darius is going to get taken away from him. The Rumble is the next ban. Expecting to see the Rel show its head at some point. I'm assuming with the Rumble banned away by Ruddy, Nativz are going to have to answer out with a Rel ban because they do not want to just give over the Rel and not have like a power pick as a response for that. Yeah. The LeBlanc is going to get banned away here from Vladdy by Ruddy. Final ban coming in from Nativz. Are they going to look towards the Zayas, the Rakans, the Kaisers, or are they going to look towards that Rel?
Maokai. Rel, surely. Ooh, Rel's open then. You just got to slap that down. Surely you got to slap that down if you're Ruddy here, because it's a champion that Zapdos should be able to play as well, since, you know, he's very comfortable on like the Maokai's, the Sejuani's. Like, yeah, he's got to be able to play that Rel as well. And we've already seen Pui take it too. So Pui had I believe we played Rel yesterday.
No, he played.
Was it Rakan?
No. He was the different one. He was Renata.
He was the different one.
He got
Renata.
MVP for his Renata.
Yes, you're right. Correct. Yeah, I remember the MVP. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
Obviously, if support gets MVP, it has to be Rel. But that was a really quick turnaround there on the other side here. Nate is looking down that Kaiser and that Sejuani. Two very powerful picks here. Instantly responded into the Rel.
Yeah. I think it's a good denial, right? They knew exactly what they wanted to handshake the Rel with. I still don't think it's worth it, but it's a good denial to take away the Sejuani from the melee-enabled compositions that really like to play in that top side. Varus taken into the Kaiser. This is actually a good matchup into the Kaiser. Very lane dominant, can do pretty well. Another champion that's risen in priority a little bit more. Want to see what they pick away. What usually happens is people play Renekton here. Doesn't look like it's going to be the Renekton. Usually deny Renekton combo with Stefan's Sejuani, but yeah, they're taking a poke composition again. Same as yesterday. There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay,
so
that
Vladdy,
is shocking.
Yeah, Vladdy's incredible on Yone. Okay, this isn't the first time he's played it. He's played it a bunch, and every single time he's played it, he's absolutely popped the hell off. So looking to see what he does today.
He's a sick Yone. It's not just that he's sick at Yone, but obviously, like, this is the quintessential MV carry style champion as well. He's picking it into the Jace, which I do think is ballsy, but it's a great combination with the Sejuani too. Like, this is, yeah, God, this is a lot of the makings to be a very explosive game. I will say though, like, what beats poke is hard engage, and there's a lot of engage already coming through from Nativz. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and slap down some more of that in the second part of this draft too.
I do want to see Stefan play some early attention towards this mid lane. We saw in that previous game the Jace kind of become completely redundant because of the hard camping and just kind of getting shut down. I think you want to do the same. Enable your Yone, because I think if they just sit in an isolated 1v1, Yone just gets outranged, and unless Vladdy can, like, proper hands check MV carry, it's going to be a bit of a rough lane. So that's what I want to see from Stefan. On the other side, we have had the bans go down. A Fiddlesticks and a Nunu ban coming in from the side of Nativz. On the other side, a little bit more normal, bit more team fight kind of orientated bans from Ruddy as they take away the Alistair and the Malphite. So moving over now to Nativz to get their first pick in this next phase. What are they going to be looking to pick up here? Probably looking towards that support role, something that can pair up with that Kaiser. The Nautilus is a very traditional support to go along with that. And now over to Ruddy, they're going to be looking to pick their top and their jungler, unless that Rel is flexible and they have something else in mind to go in the bot lane.
So I think it's going to be a Braum here. It works really well with the disengage they need to facilitate that poke composition versus that engage. It's very obvious that they're going to go with this Nautilus here. Usually you ban away Braum before you lock in the Naught, but it isn't the worst matchup in the world. Usually, people tout it as a really bad matchup, but you can attack Braum in lane a little bit if you take short trades. So I wonder if they'll lock it in. I think it's the best option here to facilitate the composition.
Well, that's if the Rel doesn't go support. They do lock in Mr. Spin the Blocks Renekton after that previous game. Looking now towards their jungle role or support. Amumu's still flexible between the two, so we'll find out in a little bit. I actually think a really good pickup here for Shikari is that Kennen. Because we saw in the first game of yesterday where how miserable the Renekton Kennen matchup is, and there is a lack of AP on the side of Nativz. You put that on top of, like, the teamfight potential. Kennen's a really solid pick here, but actually looks like they are just going to lock in the Ornn, play more for the kind of front line and the scaling in the late game.
Yeah.
I think you do want just to slap, like, it's if you look at the carries on the side of Ruddy, like, it's so hard to escape an on ult, right? There's no good answers for on engage here, so some really hard engage to counter that poke from Ruddy. This Amumu is really interesting though. I don't really know what to make of that specifically. I think it seems, yeah, I mean, Amumu plus Rel is a really nice combo, and maybe like a follow up for if you do poke people down, you can, like, you know, then jump in and force the fight. But aside from that, I think it's, you know, a bit of a curveball here in this draft.
Yeah, there's a reason I would have really liked Braum is because it also disincentivizes the Ornn, which is like the only matchup in the world right now doing well into Renekton. So you would have had like a two-parter there where you have a really good matchup bot lane and then good for your composition, as well as having a good matchup top lane secured. Regardless, they've locked in this Mumu, and yes, you have Rel and Amumu synergy, and Renekton can also, I guess, go in, but it's not as snap, right? But then you have poke from Varus and Jay, so it doesn't really synergize all that well. You have two different kinds of ideas there on the Ruddy draft, whereas for the side of Nativz, everything makes sense. You have going on Kai'Sa, you have going in on Yone, you have Nautilus as well, and early game, I'd imagine what they're going to do is play around that mid lane, facilitate Vladdy on this Yone, and cap the Jace, because that's usually the counterplay.
Yeah, absolutely. I am very excited going on this game, though. I think what it's really going to be for me is a little bit of a skill threshold going in towards playoffs, because I said it in the post game of that previous game, is I actually don't really know where of our top 4 teams to place anybody right now. I think it's very tight between all of them. I think it's a little bit scattered on that front. So to see how Nativz and Ruddy fare up, it's a little bit of a kind of a taste tester going into those playoffs. We'll get a good idea, or at least, you know, some level of an idea of at least these two teams' relative strengths, because they'll play versus each other, and we'll get, you know, a rough idea. I think, you know, the game we saw from Ruddy yesterday proved to me that, you know, they are a very capable team when they do get ahead. They know exactly what their game plan is, and they kind of demolished Fawful a little bit in that game number 3. So obviously looking to repeat the same. Obviously we saw Sheehan or Mr. Spin the Block on the Renekton yesterday, and he had a really good game on it.
Yeah, he was quality. He got MVP for that game. He was just an absolute menace in those team fights, and see if he can repeat that performance. Still some good team fighting tools here for Ruddy. A lot of CC to lock people down, which is unsurprisingly led Denvoxney to take the cleanse here on that Kai'Sa. For me, though, eyes on this mid lane, and the junglers as well are most likely going to be showing some attention towards this side of the map. Vladdy's Yone, exactly as you said here, Aragon. Very, very solid pick. Very good on this champion. One of the better mids we have here in the NLC on a very, very stylish and flashy champion.
Yep. So Jace hates people in his face. Right, absolutely hates people in his face. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ornn roam down, a Nautilus roam up, and just see 5 men in the mid lane right here, because there's so much pick potential onto this Jace, and honestly, I think he's going to have a really hard time. So I want to see Envy carry pilot these team fights and skirmishes really well. Bot lane's actually fighting. There's a lot of kerfuffling going on right now. Maybe we'll see some sums and trades forced out as both junglers do path down bot side and facilitate those ganks.
Looks like both teams just going to be quite happy to spread that damage around. We actually did lose a little bit more health, but there was a bit of a spread between Denvoxney and Twist on the other side. Is there Sheehan? Oh, sorry, Mr. Spin the Block. Apologies. I got a message from Jake earlier being like, make sure you call him Mr. Spin the Block. So I'll try my best. Sometimes I just read the name on the screen, though.
I think that's fairly acceptable, Jake, for you to do that. My bad, I just call them by their names. Oh, it's not, okay. No.
Well, he has able to get himself an already a bit of a CS lead, shoving the wave nice and early into Shikari's face. But keep in mind, he's playing versus Shikari, and Aragon can attest to this. Shikari's just one of those top laners who's just stable.
He's immovable.
Like, yeah, he really is an Ornn, isn't he? He just like, there's not really much you can do to the guy. He can play winning matchups, he can play losing matchups, and he does both so gracefully. Does look like Toaster might be in a little bit of danger here. Stefan's jumping in. They get the lockdown, they get the hook, they get the follow-up. Toaster, no flash. Only has that heal, but it's not going to do much. Ooh. First blood to Denvoxney.
Yeah,
yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. You take it away, mate.
Well, of course, I would just stole the point from you, where he started topside, and then everyone knew he was going to move down bot, but they didn't think he'd be there just in that time, right? Sneaking through the enemy jungle, getting in behind the pushing lane of Toaster and Pui. And most importantly, that blowing flash on Toaster and still killing him means it opens up the opportunity for some repeat ganks if they want to do that.
Yeah, and no ward on Raptors as well, which means that Stefan could sneak by that Wraith Pit and actually walk down behind them through that Tribush. Super nice bit of pathing, like exactly like you said. And that pushing lane, you know, it ends up being a negative thing, but there's a lot of attention coming down to mid now. I want to see this continue.
All right, now it looks like Zapdo is looking for something. Stefan hasn't spotted him out though, and Zapdo, he's actually just going for Crab. That's where he wants to put his attention. I think MV Carry is saying, it's not worth it. I'm going to reset anyway. He's got teleport. He's got himself, you know, no mana. He just wants to get that reset off.
Nothing going to happen realistically. Does look like Zapdo. You know, I think the idea behind the Amumu pick is you just farm up for 6, and he has picked it because he wanted an AP jungler. We did see him, we didn't highlight in these bans just how many bans towards a jungle there were. And it was Nunu, Fiddlesticks, all these things he likes to cook up as a gank potentially comes through from the Amumu.
Yeah, Vladdy did spot him out though, so he's playing it nice and smart. He's aware that there is a potential gank coming in. Another nice little thing about the Amumu is his passive, especially when you're running this AP version of Varus. Not that the AP Varus is actually going to get any items, because he is just getting turbo camped, locked down in place. They're going to throw everything down onto him. They have the E to lock Toaster in place. A little bit of follow-up damage. The heal comes out this time. But man, Toaster is just getting bullied.
Ooh, he walks away though. He has to use his heal, but the fact that he doesn't die there is a really, really big W there. I think, for sure, I thought his death warrant was signed on that one. Is able to escape with his life and recall here, but look at his items, man. He's not able to pick anything of significance up at all. Doesn't get that Noon Quiver or anything. And whereas Denvoxne here, very happy to be doing what he's doing. 15 CS up, another big wave down bot here that Toaster's going to be missing too. Pui's going to hit like level 5 before Toaster's even level 4. It's pretty tragic here, honestly, for Ruddy's ADC.
Yep. Significant CS difference right down in the bot lane. Almost a play advantage to Voxney as well. It's just kind of a jungle gap at the moment. Zapdo has been struggling a little in the previous games. I remember a Nunu game last week where he was just behind on every single play compared to the enemy jungler, and the bot lane suffered for it as well. So not the best look for the Amumu, which he's cooked up. It must be so hard to play with Zapdo because he just pulls out the wackiest stuff. Nunu, Fiddlesticks, Amumu, as MV Carry has to flash. So this is exactly the attention I wanted to see mid lane. Look at this. It's just a party, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see Ornn come down eventually as well.
Pui actually in a little bit of danger. Stefan Hex flashes over. Ooh. Interrupted mid-air. Locked in place by the permafrost, but was able to get over the wall, so we'll be nice and safe on that front. And as much as, yeah, the Amumu is a bit of a bizarre pick, going back to that point I was making, it actually empowers Toaster because of the passive on Mumu, giving like that true damage translation on the AP. Actually kind of nice when you mix it up with the AP Varus. They are going to find the lockdown, and Vladdy finished up.
That was, well, everyone's got to have one. Yeah, every Yone player gets one, right? Well, 1 or 10. Yeah. They get a few.
Did Pui get the... Pui got the crab.
I think Stefan didn't get it. So this is the one thing, right? The difference between Stefan and Zapdo. You said jungle diff. Aragon, firstly, it's always jungle diff, obviously. But more importantly, you know, Stefan's been making plays, more PvP plays. But Zapdo's been farming, right? And he has very significant CS lead over the Sejuani and should be able to hit that 6 earlier. So really, it just comes down to whether or not Zapdo can find a play at 6 while Sejuani is still level 5 and leverage that advantage that Zapdo should have gained by sticking in his jungle and prioritizing the farm.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, it's up to Denvoxne to use this gold lead that Stefan has given him and sacrifice his own jungle camps for. Getting Denvoxne ahead seems to be the win con here, and we know just how capable he is. Doesn't seem like neutral objectives are going to be contested. At the very least, not this Chemtech Dragon. Neither team are interested in this, as trading comes down topside. In the end, it's kind of futile, I won't lie. This matchup is you're punching a sandbag made of lead. It's just, there's nothing you can actually do. And you also die.
Made of lead.
Yeah, that didn't really come out right, did it?
A lead bag.
A lead bag. Riptide does spawn out now. You do have a really strong top side if you decide to shift up your team as native. So we'll see if they want to contest that.
Oh, Shikari has obviously got his jungler nearby, so he's going to be nice and comfortable to hold this wave as the sandbag of lead. Not really under any serious threat right now. As we are now at that point where I can take a quick look at the items. Obviously, objectives up across the board. And people are starting to get towards those items, starting to pick up some of those core components. Yone has his attack speed boost, so he's full build. Serrated onto MV carry, so he still needs a fair amount of items before Jace really hits that 3-item major spike that the champion does get. Does look like Zap, though. Reading that Stefan probably was on a recall. He was comfortable with his top lane pressure to translate this into an early Rift Herald, and Stefan will be able to go and start up the dragon as the recalls are coming in from Ruddy. They have no intention of contesting this one, so just going to trade objective for objective across the map. But Ruddy maybe a little bit up on that tempo, though, as now they can go back and catch those farms and then look for a place to go place that Herald. The question for me is, where are they going to use it? Are they going to use it to try and get Toaster some gold, which is much needed for him? Or are they going to look to try and accelerate MV carry or Stefan, or sorry, Mr. Spin the Block?
I don't think it'll go down top side. Like, that seems kind of boring, kind of futile. That's just, nothing's ever really going to happen on that side of the map. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see it sat down in mid, or, you know, if you maybe move into mid, get mid pro, then move MV carry down, and then you slap down Herald down bot side and go for a dive or something like that. Because I do think you're right, Toaster needs a little bit of love in his bot side. He has received a lot of attention early from Stefan, and that CS difference is somewhat significant even at this point in the game. Something that has drawn my attention, and I am going to call on the expert analysis of Aragon on this one. The itemization from Kai'Sa. This would suggest this is not going to be an AP Kai'Sa. If I'm not mistaken, that's usually like a Shiv into Nash's Tooth and then Ginzu.
Oh, Zapdo? What a weird interaction. Huh. but
Ruby finally found a friend, man. They had to buff him. To make sure that he always gets those friends when he actually finds them. But yeah, the point I wanted to make is, like, you have no AP damage really, right? If you're not going AP Kai'Sa.
I think so. Yeah, no, completely. Just to go back to this point, I think the idea is that Yone, because he does like 50% AP damage, as well as you have Sejuani, Ornn, and Nautilus base damages, they've deemed that enough. I'd actually argue they need AD damage, right? Because Yone isn't a dedicated AD champion. Yeah, I don't hate it at all, and that's just the power of Kai'Sa, right? You're so flexible, you can build whatever your team needs, and you could also mid and bot lane, and that just makes her one of the best power picks on the patch.
Well, quick break as we are getting a post-game, a mid-game interlude. It does feel like this has been a very slow start to the game. Yes, there was that attention onto Toaster on the bot side, and then Voxney was able to get himself a kill and a massive farm lead. The question is, how are they going to translate that? Are we going to start to see this Herald used to either open up the mid lane or get some gold back onto Toaster? Hopefully we'll get an answer to that soon once we get out of this pause. Hopefully shouldn't be too long on that one. But honestly, the state of the game definitely moving at a slower pace. And I'm curious who we think that actually favors. Especially now we've seen the Kai'Sa build. Do you think that changes anything? Who do you feel is actually going to be happier with the way this game has started?
I would say honestly Nativz on this one, because I just think that Yone is probably going to be too hard to answer in a side lane as this game goes on. Obviously Kai'Sa's scale was just absolutely ridiculously, and the setup from the rest of his team should have a lot of damage, but I also definitely wouldn't write Ruddy off. I think they have some very good tools for the late point in this game as well.
I think Nativz outscaled super damn hard, because there's two reasons, right? First of all, you have ornaments coming in, and secondly, how does Varus hit? He's on hit Varus, right? How does he actually auto-attack in this game? I don't see how. He's getting dove non-stop, and then like he's versus Ornn ult, versus Nautilus ulti. I realistically don't see a way for Toaster to play very easily at all. So you throw that on top of the natural outscaling composition of all the team being on one page with the dive, versus the kind of here and there scattered like focus of the composition of Ruddy, with some people wanting to poke, some people want to dive, some people want to hit first, like front target, playing front to back. I think that makes it much easier to play composition for Nativz.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one to see. For now, though, we are just looking at Stefan, looking to see if he can make a play happen down here in this bot lane. Don't believe he's been spotted. Teleport was used by MV Carry to actually go into the mid lane, so he can't come with a return play. I don't think we saw Stefan there. I think he's still hiding away. He might have seen the passive. He might have seen the passive transfer onto Twist as Twist walked towards that bush.
They're pinging
I
on
don't
the
think
way.
they know.
I don't think they know, you know? Oh, he looks at the hook. That might have given it away. That might have given it away as the wave's still pushing in, so they have to walk forward anyway.
They've got to have seen it. There it is.
They saw it on the sweeper.
As soon as they saw that passive go onto Twist again, they realized what was up.
Very smart. Getting that silhouette on the sweeper there just rats him out a little bit. There was maybe an opportunity there for Stefan to get something, but at the end of the day, nothing come of it. And sadly for them, Ruddy, realizing that Stefan is bot side, is just going to be able to put down this Herald pretty much risk-free. Oh my god, what the... Oh,
okay, MV carry strong.
Getting that lethality mythic done is just... Oh, that Eclipse is putting in some work already.
I mean, importantly, it was a lot of time investment from Stefan there, right? He was just sitting there as Denvoxny dashes in.
Yeah, well, Toaster threw the ultimate down. Instant cleanse and turnaround from Denvoxny, but still, he's on the weaker side of that trade as Vladdy desperately just trying to clear away these waves, but eating those Qs from MV Carry, who's going to look to jump in onto him. Dodges the ultimate, going for the tower dive. MV Carry! That was beautiful!
Wow, what outplay by MV Carry. That was sick. Oh my goodness, the sidestep, the flash, Vladdy. Like, Vladdy is no slouch at all. He made him look silly.
Guys, none of us could ever do that in a million years. That was so impressive. That sidestep on the ultimate. I thought that would clip, and if it does clip, he's just dead under tower. Still, massive confidence coming from him. Pui?
Twist is in danger. They have that second Q from the Amumu, but he catches them. But Toaster with the arrow. Just like that, Ruddy are back in control of this game. A 2,000 gold lead over to them. And Toaster, who was starting to be a little bit of a problem, a little bit scary because he was falling behind, is well and truly back in the game.
All is said and done, it's still pretty good result for Ruddy. They are 3-1 as both neutral objectives deciding to spawn. So, both neutral objectives are spawning a very similar amount of time, right? Do you opt to contest them or do you cross map? It looks like both teams are actually going to make their way over. Which team has TP? Nativz actually have TP on Ornn, so I think Nativz have more agency on this one. Shihan is just going to shadow here to secure mid-pro and actually not reveal. This is crucial, right? So Nativz don't know where Shihan is right now, and he could just appear if NV Carry gets engaged on.
Oh, they're jumping straight on. Mr. Spin the block has to come in and save the day for his team. NV Carry able to survive. Hook goes a little bit wide as Ruddy able to hold their mid laner's life. He has no teleport though, so this should just be the dragon gifted over to Nativz.
Even though he didn't die, he is low enough that he shouldn't be able to contribute too much to this fight. He will stick around because obviously Jace can still put out some damage from quite far away. Yeah, there should be advantage Nativz on this one. Shikari now pushed out mid, coming in at Zapdo. Flash ult.
Massive flash out, but a flash out from Vladdy secures him the turnaround. They are able to find the one kill here for the side of Ruddy. Denvoxny on the run, trying to desperately get away. He has that flash. He uses the ult to disengage. Dragon secured. In comes Pui. Gets the free-man stun. In comes Zapdo. Toaster jumps in forwards. The downtown shock blast coming in huge from NV Carry. Absolutely beautifully played by Ruddy.
And at the beginning, it didn't look like it was going to be that great because you had Toaster on the flank. Like, what are you doing? You're a Varus. Still, he manages to make it work because Zapdo finds the flash engage onto Vladdy. And immediately, when Vladdy's down, that's one less important threat for Toaster to worry about. And in the end, Toaster can just free hit. Ruddy managed to pull out the dragon.
On the downside there for Nativz, it's a lost team fight. It's a lost dragon. On the plus side, Vladdy is now 1 death closer to his 10 death power spike. Only 7 more to go here before he can slap that down. Could be very scary as this game goes on. He's got the Gale Force as well. Like, I wonder if that was just like a tilted pivot. Like, you know what? Screw you guys. You've been getting on me all game. I've been made to look silly. I need an extra gap closer. I got to get out of this one. But in all seriousness, it does make a lot of sense when you have all that CC and all that engaged from Ruddy, just to try and save yourself a little bit more with that Gale Force. Of course, can also be used more aggressively if you want to as well.
And just a highlight, Shihan also 1v3'd at the back end of that fight, right? Absorbing cooldowns, creating space for his carries, and he died. But he's kind of the unsung hero of that fight. Really well played as more trades come down. Hipbrain, you were going to say something. Go ahead, mate.
No. I've just Spin the block, having another great performance on this Renekton. Maybe something that they do need to look at.
I keep saying Shihan. My bad.
I got it written down so I don't forget. Toaster has that static shift, so this is the major thing is while Denvoxny is going to be going for that kind of AD crit Kai'Sa, you do lose out on the wave clear capabilities when you don't go for the AP Kai'Sa. So that is something they do have to kind of keep in mind. Mr. Minblock does have his teleport up and available, so if they do decide to contest this next dragon, it may have to come into use. While Shikari also does have his teleport, Nativz are looking to set up on to this dragon. It looks, though, like Ruddy, with the pings coming down, they are interested in contesting. Zapdo has that Curse of the Sad Mummy up and available, so you need to keep that in mind as Denvoxney eats a shock blast. Already a little bit chumped out, and Ruddy now jumping in. Stefan needs to be careful. Zapdo comes over the wall, jumps onto Twist, looking to maybe keep the pressure up. Almost lands the next bandage toss. And that should just be a herald over to the side of Ruddy. No real way Nativz can contest this now.
Yeah, free objective there for Ruddy. Just get that herald, slap that down, open the map up a little bit. Ruddy don't have a single tower in this game. Well, no one has a single tower, so really want to use that to break open the game. 18 minutes in, no towers gone is a bit late into the game, to be honest, so Herald will go some ways to try and open this game up, especially if you use that Herald in mid, and you can really open out the map, go into the enemy jungle, put down some vision, and control the map more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Or not teleporting there was curious. Shikari holding it. I feel like it was a bit of a split call because they tried to do Herald, but then Shikari didn't commit, and it was just all over the place, and then got engaged on that. I think they're absolutely terrified of Zapdo right now. That man is tanky, but he also deals a ton of damage because of that Demonic Embrace. So, objective, like you said, does go over to the side of Ruddy. Where are they going to use this Herald, though? That tower in the mid lane would kind of be a little bit of a waste, which is weird to say, but
it's like 1 HP.
It's another one of these. What's happening? Why does this keep happening today?
14 HP turret.
Oh, come on, let's see. What we got?
6.
13.
13.
That's what I said.
Really?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, me too.
Well, there you go. Toaster gets the gold. Maybe just using that in the top or the bot just to open up the map a little bit more for Ruddy. They may just slap it down in the mid lane, get a big shove and slap it down in the mid lane before this next dragon comes up. Cloud Soul, actually quite strong here for the side of Ruddy. Mr. Spin the block, obviously, when he pops that ultimate, getting all that movement speed, means he's going to be an even bigger menace on the back line. Zapdo, it's not overly useful because everyone stands still when you ult them anyway, but it's something. But for Pui to kind of have the sticking power after the Magnet Storm, it's actually a really nice Drake for him.
Yeah, there are a few worse Cloud Soul uses than someone like a Mumu, for sure.
Oh, the prediction!
You're joking.
No gameplay for MV Carry. He actually almost takes out half of Vladdy's health, but that was tragic.
Wow.
What a beautiful ult there from Stefan.
That was sick. He earned that kill. I know it was a slight chaos from Vladdy, but he earned it. What a beautiful prediction there from that Sejuani ult.
Yeah. Man, it's super nice, wasn't it? Again, another play I could just never do in a million years. As Dragon spawns and both teams head down to bot side, you can see Mr. Spin the block, taking out that bot lane turret, another turret for the side of Ruddy. Loads of vision down. Take a look at all that vision down by the Dragon on for the side of Ruddy. Loads of places that top lanes could flank to and hide in, potentially get a flank, but Nativz seem content starting up this Baron.
Yeah, they actually got Stefan on it. A bit of a slow to the play coming in from the side of Nativz. Stefan actually losing a fair amount of HP. Pui, are they even aware this is happening? Zapdo, if he jumps in with ult here, this is actually them donezo. He's gonna do it. He's got the Q. He misses it. Vladdy clears the wall, and Ruddy,
now it's his.
They're gonna go for the Baron. What is going on?
He does this really quickly, by the way. There's so much percentage health coming out for the side of Ruddy right now with that Varus, with that Zapdo. But look at the TP flank.
Yeah, Shin's coming in. They're going to get some damage down. 3,000 health. Here comes Shikari with the ultimate. Gets the knock up onto 2. The Baron is stolen by Stefan. And now Ruddy shall fall. Nativz finding all of their openings, but missed to spin the block. Coming in with a huge lockdown. Ult out by Vladdy. And Mr. Spin the block saved the day there for Nativz. That looked like a great turnaround potential for Ruddy. But they do get away with the Baron still. Absolutely huge.
It's a great play there by Ruddy, looking like they're in advantage. But honestly, when all's said and done, 2 people from Ruddy die. The Baron is stolen by Stefan. Nativz had no place getting anything from that play, and they came out massively on top. That TP flank from Shikari was beautiful. Hardcore Toaster out of position. Doesn't end up dying, but still it's enough to push him out of the fight and to turn that fight in Nativ's favor. Very nicely done there, and Ruddy with a good idea, just not quite executing it well.
Yeah, and honestly, well done to Vladdy there, despite being 0-3, managing to offer a lot of disengage, managing to predict the Renekton E forward and Q3ing it to not let his AD carry be hit. Really good stuff. Now, how do they use this Baron? Clearly, first they're going to do this Dragon, right, to get secure second Dragon themselves, but what do they do afterwards? They really desperately need this mid tower, also bot, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4-1 coming out here, mid and bot side.
Well, the Hero comes down in that bot side. A little bit of a desperation play there from Zapdo. It's starting to get those kind of tankier items on board. Obviously, Demonic does give you some stats, but it is mostly there also just for that AP capability in the burn. But now starting to get some real kind of chunkier, tankier items on, and you get to that point where a Moo becomes unkillable while also doing a crazy amount of damage. Eventually, as Vladdy will take down this turret in the bot lane, and Nativz, now that they got the Baron, starting to reel this back. The gold lead starting to fall away, starting to disappear as Ruddy have to find himself an opening in this game.
And may just have closed the door a little bit with that last play. It's definitely not shut fully, however, of course. I want to really keep my eyes on Vladdy, though, as this game goes on, because him in the side lane is really what's going to be this pivot point for Nativz and their success as this game goes on with their game plan. Like, if Vladdy puts on a lot of pressure in that side lane and pushes really fast, as we all know that a Yone can do, Ruddy may struggle to come up with an answer for that. And all of that early game where they were able to shut down the Yone and get some really good plays against him, kind of be for naught. See how this one develops, as Nativz now just looking to potentially even just group up and I don't know, force something, maybe go for a dive. This mid tower, this tier 1 tower here is still on full HP, and Ruddy are not going to give it away for free.
Stefan my ult here.
He's looking for it. They're going to throw Stefan straight in onto the back line. There's going to be the lockdown, but no! Vladdy finds the assassination. Pui going low. Vladdy's able to get himself a double kill just like that. Envy Carry joins the fight too late, and down goes Stefan. Missed the spin, the block falls. A triple kill onto Vladdy as he's going all the way. Quadra kill for Vladdy.
Just like that, we said it. Yone, keep your eyes on him from 0-3-0 to 4-3-3. 400 gold bounty, and Nativz we're looking a little bit silly here. Ruddy having a brilliant early game, and with that one play around Baron and this play around the tier 2, mid tier 2, all coming back in Nativz's favor, and they're proving to us why they're one of the strongest teams we have here in NLC.
Yeah, and going back to what we highlighted in Jam Select, how does Varus hit in this draft, right? He got flanked and engaged on and just dumped an Ornult on his head as well as a Yone in his face, right? It's so unbelievably hard for Toaster to pilot this if the ultimates connect, and it's not that hard, right? You just throw a Sejuani ult, you throw an Ornult, and he will get tagged unless he has summoners, and he didn't have flash. So in the end, that's what transpired there, and then the entire team composition of Nativz all on board with the exact same thing of go forward.
Yeah, and you also now kind of get to that point where the gold leads in the favor of Nativz, but they're also getting those ornaments for free, so just even more base stats. As Xian's in danger. It may look for him. The Hex Flash over the wall. Twist can't fully commit for it. As Invoxney just clearing away these waves nice and quickly. I'm curious if this build gives enough AP to upgrade the W onto Kai'Sa. The answer is yes, because he just casted that W very quickly again. There we go. Answered my own question. As Denvoxney just getting a bit of poke off here immediately, and it looks like they're going to jump in again, missing out on the ult. Shikari looking for the knock-up onto 3. Tower going low. Zapdo does have that Curse of the Sad Money as the suspender block clears away the wave. Vladdy trying to get the damage off. The lovely little dodge on the chains there with a ping back. And Nativz, that was basically a costless attempt. They do burn 2 ultimates, but relatively short cooldowns as Denvoxney just continues to try and poke away at the Nativz members.
Yep. Which team will get their blocks spun? We'll have to see. No ultimates now. No engages, no Ornult, and Sejuani ultimate. It does look like this is going to back to neutralize.
Thing is, as well, at this point, we talked about the poke from Ruddy's team comp, right? When you've got Varus and Jace just throwing out all those skill shots, but none of it's landing. And I'm not talking about their whiffing. It's just not dealing damage. Like, Nativz have just got such a huge front line in Ornn, Sejuani, and even Nautilus at this point. Like, you know, a shock blast is just going to get blocked by one of those 3. And it doesn't do anything. None of this poke is doing anything. So it's like this whole setup that Ruddy are looking for just does not exist. So they may have found a catch here onto Nativz.
Yeah, they might be looking for it. Envy Carry able to steal away the crab. Ruddy going to go for it. They're going to throw in Curse of the Sad Money. Instant teleports coming down, but Shikari already chunked and dead. Then Voxy trying to join into the fight as Mr. Spin the blocks on the back line. Looking for the knock up here from Vladdy. He's able to survive for just a little bit longer, but that might have been the opening. Mr. Spin the block heavily chunked out though. Then Voxney may just continue to poke away. Remember, the Baron shredding away at that magic resist means then Voxney's W's are doing a lot.
Whoa.
And he jumps. There we go. Straight on a play as the huge shutdown's picked up. Health bars on Ruddy blinking. Then Voxney is to 1 versus 5. He's able to take out 2 of them. Gets the W. Eats the Q. He is down. Nativz find themselves taken out as Ruddy will get the Baron.
It's back and forth again. Nativz coming out on top before. Not so much this time around.
Wait, Shikari can teleport.
No, they can't do it. They can't do it anymore. It's done. Oh,
he's coming in.
My goodness.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Shikari's got the
Nonsense.
TP, but does he? No, he doesn't. But no, there's just no way. I mean, okay, to be fair though, isn't that just the most Ruddy thing ever?
Yeah.
If one organization in the NLC was going to do something like that, it was going to be Ruddy. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's slightly less hype here, but a great team fight, some great picks there as well. Even though these guys are tanky as heck on Nativz, that front line is very beefy. You can still see Jace does a butt ton of damage, and Varus, you said it, Aragon, a million times. How does he hit people? Well, when he can find those times to hit people, even though it's not easy for him to do it, when he can get it, he does a lot of damage, as you saw there.
I think,
as Don Jake would say, that play was cold. Now, Baron spawning on the table. Both teams are probably going to posture here, because that Baron really does shred, by the way. Like, that Amumu with the Demonic Embrace, they know that their threat is there from Nativz, right? So they've got to face check and secure vision control. Ruddy have the inside track.
Yeah, they're going to throw out the Ornhorn. Spin the block finds himself caught out immediately. Zapdo looking for that Curse of the Sad Mummy, unable to get it. Here comes the ultimate chains coming immediately. Lovely little W there by Shikari as Vladdy get pulled in. Massive Magnet Storm for now as they're able to find themselves a kill onto Shikari. Then Voxy pings back. They get the knockup. They get the 3. Then Voxy's alive. He won't go down. Toaster flashes in, but he's going to give his life for it. Stopwatch is huge. Can he survive? They get themselves the turnaround. Vladdy jumps forward. MV Carry flashes in. Tries to get onto Vladdy, but Vladdy's able to survive for just a little bit longer, and that should be the finalizing punch for this game. Nativz, what a fight!
What is going on?
It all comes down to beautiful little bits of micro from Denvoxney and Vladdy. He whiffs the Q3, but Denvoxney managed to stay alive on 1 HP for so damn long. This man is pulling off miracles right now. 1 versus 5ing before and surviving there, managing to win the fight on his own.
It's so absurd. Like, this game is just so back and forth. I honestly thought after Nativz whiffed the Ornn ulti and the Sejuani ulti was used on like a point blank Amumu just to try and disengage, I was like, oh wow, like that's it, surely. Like you've used all your tools and Ruddy haven't even been deterred. Surely now Ruddy just go and wipe this fight, but gosh, Nate has proven me wrong there. So as you mentioned, just brilliant play from Denvoxney and Vladdy, the 2 carries, the 2 damage dealers on Nativz, really coming up to show here in the last game of the regular season.
And how do you kill Vladdy now? That's the real scary thing. Look, he's got the stopwatch, he's got the shield bow, he's got the Gale Force and the Bloodthirster. His damage is insane, but he's also just got so many tools to survive. We saw them struggle to finish off Denvoxney in that previous fight to the point where Toaster had to flash into 3. Vladdy's a bigger threat. He's level 18. He's just solo killed MV Carry. And I think Ruddy, they're in some real Dangerville right now. Goldly heavily in favor, power and pressure for Nativz right now.
Dangerville indeed. As Nativz barrel down the top side, you can imagine this is just going to be given over for free. You're lacking your mid laner, right? The poke composition is falling apart as the engage comes through against the poke champions. Foxy, you keep saying how you just beat poke by engaging on them, and they're pulling it off right now. Zapdo needs to find another miracle engage alongside Pui. This might be the first rel loss in the past 2 days.
Could be. Definitely looking like the case as they're going to finish up this tower in the mid lane as well. Ruddy, they're about to get MV Carry back, but it has come at such a heavy cost, and they are going to back off, deciding they're just going to spend the gold from all those towers they just took, and then look towards playing towards probably just the bot lane, to be honest, and just finishing up the base that way.
Yeah, and 2 minutes for this soul as well, so bot lane makes a lot of sense. You want to go there to push. It's the only lane left with structures available with an inhib that stands. So Nativz should be barreling down that, and of course it will then give you position on the map to go for this Dragon Soul. Ruddy are looking to repeat something like what they did before, potentially do it, where they move forward at the objective, knowing that Nativz are going to be in the area to get vision. But just get there a little bit earlier, sit in the bush, and try and catch some people out of position. It looks like that's not going to happen this time around, though. Nativz all together here. Shikari pushing in mid, has teleport. Can Ruddy survive this pressure? Yeah. Nativz looking strong.
Nativz doing a really good job right now, sweeping out vision behind them, so there's no crazy TP flank from Mr. Spin the Block. Can Ruddy find the dream engage here? Maybe if Stefan whiffs something. Maybe if Vladdy oversteps. Time will tell.
Problem is eventually that top wave is going to sync up with that bot wave, and a large group of super minions are going to make their way into the base. Vladdy just baiting forward to see if he can find something. The W poke from Denvoxny is still there in the meanwhile. Lovely little shot blast, though, from Envy Carry, as the minion does fall. Baron about to fall off, and Denvoxny actually going for a recall after eating that shot blast, meaning Nativz will just have to cool off this siege for now. But look at that size of that wave topside. Two super minions coming in. Nativz, even though they don't have Denvoxny, they can still keep the pressure up on the bottom side of the map, because someone has to go top to deal with that large wave. Envy Carry is the one elected to do so.
And that wave's not going to be crashing quite in time as this dragon spawns. Unfortunately for Nativz, I would have liked to have delayed that a little bit longer here, but Jace does a lot of things well, and one of them is killing minions. Not just players that he can kill, but those little minions as well. Definitely aren't going to get spared. But all this vision here that Nativz has built up, denied any of it from Ruddy as well. The map is so dark from Ruddy. Ruddy are just going to give this one up, not even going to try and contest. They know it's not going to happen. You face check into Fog of War there, you know, you're eating Sejuani, you're eating Ornn ulti. You are not going to win that fight, and it's way better to just lose the soul, as bad as that is, than to lose the game outright. So
what Ruddy do have is a lot of wave clear. From that static shift from Toaster, actually going that AP build, managing to wave clear every single wave. But it's a war of attrition, right? Time is on their side. Ruddy are the ones under pressure here, as we might see an engage.
Yeah, they're going to throw everything down in. They jump. The knockup lands onto Puy immediately. Zapdo low HP. Denvoxy jumps back, and that is a 1-for-1 trade, all ready to kick it off. Shikari gets the knockup. Vladdy catches two with a huge ultimate. Denvoxy immediately jumps into the backline. Quadra kill over to Denvoxy. Make it a penta. Nativz, with an absolutely colossal fight, are going to close this game out and end on a win, end on a pentakill, as Ruddy were thwarted.
That's 5 for Denvoxny right there, and Nativz, it looks a bit shaky at some times, but not shaky enough. One of the best teams here in the NLC, ending on a high, going into playoffs.
Yeah, really fitting